Hey there, focus learners, and welcome to this explainer. Today we're taking a pretty incredible journey into the cosmos to look at the life cycle of stars. Specifically, we're diving into the heroesmartacademy lesson on stellar stability. You know, if you've ever looked up at the night sky and wondered, how do those tiny points of light just keep shining, night after night, year after year, without burning out instantly, or just collapsing into nothing? Well, you are definitely in the right place. We're going to unpack the actual science of these celestial bodies, and we're also going to explore how this specific curriculum uses the mechanics of the universe to set the stage for understanding cosmic harmony. It's a fantastic lesson, so let's just jump right in. To really get the foundation of this lesson, we first need to look at the worldview it presents. This curriculum actually integrates biblical concepts right alongside scientific inquiry, and it kicks things off with Genesis 1:14, which describes the creation of lights in the sky. The foundational premise here is that the universe isn't just some random collection of gas and dust. Instead, this lesson views the mechanics of the universe as a beautifully ordered creation. The harmony and predictability we see in the stars, they're presented as a reflection of divine balance. Keeping that perspective in mind really helps us understand exactly how this lesson approaches the incredible physics of the stars. Okay, let's dive into Section 1, the Cosmic Middle Age. To get our minds working like true scientists, let's tackle a key question straight out of the lesson's homework. Think about the life cycle of a star. A star begins its life in a stellar nursery, gathering up all this gas and dust to become what we call a protostar, basically a baby star that's just starting to form. But what happens next? What is the stage that comes right after a protostar? Well, the answer is the main sequence star. This is the stable, middle-aged stage of a star's life cycle. When a star successfully makes it out of the protostar phase, it enters this main sequence. It's settled down, it's found its rhythm, and it's going to stay in this relatively calm, stable state for a very, very long time. Honestly, think of it as a star finally paying off its cosmic mortgage and just enjoying a quiet life. It's by far the longest phase a star will ever experience. And that brilliantly illustrates why this specific stage matters so much. An overwhelming 90% of all the stars we see when we look up into the night sky are currently in this exact main sequence stage of life, 90%. Because stars spend the vast majority of their existence in this middle-aged phase, it is the most common type of star in the universe. We are literally surrounded by them. Moving right along to Section 2, the Great Stellar Tug of War. Here's another excellent question to test our understanding. We know that these stars are incredibly massive, right? And they possess unbelievably powerful forces. So, what exactly prevents a main sequence star from just exploding outward into space, or, on the flip side, collapsing inward entirely? What keeps a main sequence star stable? The answer is a literal cosmic tug of war happening every single second. On one side, you've got the immense force of gravity pulling inward. A star has a massive amount of weight, and gravity is constantly trying to crush all of that stellar material right down into the core. But on the exact opposite side, you have hydrogen fusion pushing outward. This outward push perfectly resists the inward crush of gravity. As long as these two massive forces are completely equal, gravity pulling in and fusion pushing out, the star sits in perfect balance. It won't shrink and it won't explode. It stays beautifully stable. So the crucial piece of the puzzle here is understanding that outward push. I mean, gravity is pretty easy to understand because we feel it every day. But what in the world is fueling that massive push outward from the center of the star? What is the actual source of energy inside a main sequence star that makes it strong enough to fight gravity? The incredible engine powering this outward push is hydrogen fusion. Deep inside the core of the star, hydrogen atoms are literally being smashed together under extreme pressure to form helium. This process, fusion, releases a tremendous amount of energy. That energy radiates outward through the star, creating the immense heat and light that pushes back against gravity. So, next time you see a star shining, remember, you are actually witnessing the brilliant byproduct of millions of tons of hydrogen fusing together to maintain that star's stability. Which brings us to Section 3. A colorful star spectrum. If you look very closely at the night sky, you might notice that not all stars look exactly the same color. Some have a distinct bluish tint, while others look, a bit reddish. This brings us to another great question. Since they are all doing the same basic thing, fusing hydrogen to fight gravity, why exactly are some main sequence stars blue and others red? Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how a star's color acts like a massive cosmic prism. It directly reveals its hidden secrets. Blue stars, they're the most massive and incredibly hot, just burning through their fuel super intensely. On the other end of the spectrum, red stars are smaller and much cooler. And sitting right in the center of it all are the yellow stars, middle in mass, middle in size, and middle in temperature. Let's move to Section 4, our sun and neighbors. Think about the star that gives us daylight, the star that literally makes life on Earth possible. Based on everything we've just learned about the main sequence, sizes, and colors, what kind of star is our sun? You guessed it, our sun is the absolute perfect example of a main sequence star. It is a yellow star, sitting right there in the middle in terms of temperature and brightness. It has found that perfect tug-of-war balance between gravity and fusion, and it's comfortably in its middle-aged phase. The lesson also highlights some of our cosmic neighbors, like Alpha Centauri A and Alpha Centauri B. These are nearby main sequence stars too, but they have different temperatures. It's just a great reminder that our perfectly balanced yellow sun is part of a much larger community of stable stars right in our local stellar neighborhood. Now for our final section, Section 5, Education and Spiritual Harmony. We've seen how the physical universe relies on a delicate, perfectly ordered balance to prevent collapse. Well, the HeroesMart Academy Godly Learner series applies this exact same concept of balance to personal growth. Their philosophy teaches that just as a star needs opposing forces to stay stable, human education must be balanced with biblical morality. According to the lesson, education without morality actually hurts. The curriculum asks a tough question. What's the point of being highly educated and smart if a person just continues to make bad choices that hurt themselves or others? True stability in life, much like the stability of a main sequence star, requires a harmony of both knowledge and good moral choices. To anchor this philosophy, the curriculum points straight to the scripture found in Romans 8:6-7. The lesson highlights that this verse promises peace of mind to everyone who keeps their minds spiritual. The idea here is that spiritual mindfulness provides the inner balance you need to navigate life's challenges. Just as hydrogen fusion pushes back against the crushing weight of gravity to give a star its long, stable life, engaging with a spiritual, morally grounded education pushes back against poor choices, and ultimately, that leads to a peaceful and balanced human experience. And that leaves us with a truly fascinating thought to ponder. We've explored the massive cosmic tug-of-war that keeps 90% of the stars in our sky shining steadily. We've seen how that physical harmony is mirrored in the curriculum's call for personal, spiritual balance. So I'll leave you with this final question. How does the beautifully ordered balance of the universe relate to your own educational journey? As you continue to learn and grow your mind, how are you balancing that knowledge to maintain your own personal stability and peace? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep asking great questions and keep exploring.